안녕하세요. 림페이 싱가포르 남자입니다. 네, 안녕하세요, 여러분들. Are you afraid to die? Are you afraid of death? See, today in today's live stream, yes, I do a daily live stream, right? This discussion popped up about death, about fear of death, right? And I think it's a very interesting issue to address because death is really not as scary. The nature of death itself is not as scary as people imagine, and in actual fact, over my especially during my 7 years of experience in the military, I see that in certain situations, people choose the relief of death rather than the agony of holding on to life. Yes. So yeah, I'm gonna take a little time to explain this whole mechanics and from my own personal experience because back in the spring of 2016 in Korea, I actually had a near-death experience. I was in the ICU. I passed away, and then I got revived, and I came back, and I was very aware throughout the whole process. And and that gave me some insights to the nature of death itself. So, what is the nature of death? The thing is, right now, let us first address where does the fear of death come from? See, almost everybody is afraid of dying, right? Like I explained. But why is it that under certain situations, as I have experienced and I have observed, especially in the military, that people choose death over life in certain situations, you know? Now, of course, this may be very hard to understand for people who are until this point of your life watching this video, your life has been like comfortable in a safe house, sitting on a comfortable couch. You have not been in those situations, so you will always say, "No, I will always choose life. I will always choose life." But I'm gonna tell you, you don't know that. Okay, but first, let's explore a little bit. Where does the fear of death come from in the first place? Now, when you the fear of death, right, really comes from the brain. Your brain is where the fear of death comes from. Why is that? How do you explain that? Because when you die, your brain gets shut out. And that idea, of course, this brain don't want to be shut down. This brain wants to hold on to life. So this brain is scared as hell of death. This brain is very scared of death. Why? Because this brain knows that when you die, it will decay and rot and cease to exist. But understand this is the problem here. In fact, scientifically right now, scientists has reached a conclusion that when you die, you have this flashback thing, right? But of course, not everybody have the flashback, but commonly some people have this flashback. What is the nature of this flashback? Science is coming to the conclusion that a flashback is merely the brain desperately looking through your entire life for a solution how to not die at that moment. Yep. This is how much your brain wants to hold on to life. But understand this. And therefore the brain is scared, so scared of death. Okay, because after death it will cease to exist. But understand this, you are not your brain. Of course, yeah, you may say, didn't you just say in your purpose of life video that we are essentially in the end of the day only the brain? Yeah, that is on the physical level. When we come to a matter of life and death, it's no longer about the physical level. There is a deeper level. On the physical level, you will identify yourself with your brain. Whatever. That's why Descartes said this. I think, therefore I am. This shows the degree of identification in the brain or whatever you're thinking. And therefore, because the brain is afraid of death, it hijacks you and you think you are afraid of death. Okay, that's where your fear of death really comes from. But understand this, your brain is no more a part of your body than your arm, your legs. Yes, this is you? No, this is a part of you. If I cut off my arm, am I still me? Yes, I'm still me. Okay, but you may argue, if I cut off my head, will it still be me? Of course, you cease to be alive, but you're still you, a dead you. Okay, now the thing is this. So It's because of the identification with the brain and the brain's fear of death that you think you're afraid of death. But are you really afraid of death? Who are you? Religious traditions like to call this the soul. I'd like to call it just energy. The energy that powers this body and this brain. The energy which, when you take this energy away, even if your body and brain is healthy, you will still die, just like people who die of very old age. Okay? Now, why do I say that at the moment of life and death situation, most people choose the relief of death? Actually, your brain is afraid of death, yeah? But because your brain exists only in this body in this lifetime, but your energy existed for millions of years. Because science says this, energy is neither created nor destroyed. So energy is perpetual. It will transform from one form to another form. That's what religious traditions call reincarnation. Your energy is familiar with this. Your energy has died millions of times, billions of times before. So your energy understands that death is the greatest relief and the greatest ecstasy that it can experience. And your energy knows that after leaving the body, it merely transforms from one form of physical body to another form of physicality. So what people like to label as reincarnation is really just what I call energy transforming from one physical form to another physical form, because energy is neither created nor destroyed, it's transformed. So it's just transforming itself. And it is very familiar with this process because it has died billions of times before. Okay. So, but the problem is your brain, which is a part of you, which is the thinking part of you, is afraid of death. Why? Because it can only exist in this life, in this body. After this body expires, this brain expires away. It's afraid as hell about that. But you, the real so-called spirit, I don't even like that word, knows what this is about. And when it comes to the time, the critical moment of choosing life and death, in fact, a lot of people who drown, I spent 7 years in the Navy, a lot of people who drown, they experience this. They see the water on top. They are struggling to get back out of the water. They keep drinking water. And for some people, they are really within reach of the surface. And then you know what? They give up. And then they die. At that moment, there is a critical decision moment. In those life and death situations, there is always a critical decision moment where you decide to accept the struggle to live on or go for the relief of death. This moment will come. And that moment, most people will just choose the relief of death. Because your soul energy is not afraid of death. It's done this many times over. And to your soul, and in the process of the physicality, there is no greater relaxation and relief than death. Because physical relaxation when you are so-called alive is only muscular relaxation. But when you die, everything inside relaxes. Your heart takes a break. Your lungs takes a break. Everything takes a break. You will experience this relaxation for a few moments before your brain gives up. Okay, so it is actually a really nice feeling. And even that, okay, a lot of people who cliffhangers, who fall to their death, there is a critical moment where they can choose to continue the agony of trying to hang on to life, really hang on, or just let go and accept the relief of death. And a lot of people die this way, So you may say that you are afraid of death, but when it comes to life and death situations, many people are not as afraid of death as they think they are. Because at that moment, a lot of people choose the relief of death over the agony of life. Yep. So yeah, this can go on very much longer, but I think this is just something I hope to leave here to help people understand what their fear of death is all about. And of course, you will never fully understand until you have ever been in those kind of situations, like I have. Okay, until you feel that moment of choice. There is a moment of choice between the agony of life or the relief of death. You will feel it very strongly in those situations. And honestly, I felt that point quite a few times in my life. Not only during that near-death experience, but in many other times of my life when I crashed, when I was in very bad accidents and all that stuff. I feel it very strongly that I could just let go and. But yes, this is actually how it works. This is what your fear of death is all about. What do you think? Share with me your experiences and your discoveries and your realizations in the comments below. Annyeong.